Hello everyone. Today I am going to demonstrate a lab on the topic VPC. Now VPC is Virtual Private Cloud and it is one of the most fundamental topics of AWS. Okay, so this is my AWS console and it's my account here. I have opened into the region North Virginia. Let me show you the lab which I am going to demonstrate here. So this is the lab. You can see the diagram. It's a cloud architect. It is showing a VPC with the name lab VPC and with a particular range of IP addresses. Now inside this VPC in availability zone A, we are going to create two subnets, public subnet and private subnet. Let's see what is the purpose of different subnets. Now in public subnet, we launch instances which are public facing, which are public to the internet, means they can interact with the net directly. Whereas in private subnet, we launch instances which are not public facing, which cannot interact directly with the internet. So for that reason, we create a NAT gateway. So purpose of NAT gateway is whenever the traffic is originated from the private subnet, that is internet bounded traffic, that will go to the NAT gateway, and then NAT gateway communicates with the outside world. Then we are going to create two route tables, public route table and private route table. Both are basically one for the public subnet and other for the private subnet. Let's see in the management console how to do this practically. So first I will click on a service VPC and here I will create my own VPC. So as you can see, already there are two VPCs. So let's click on the VPC and I will click on create VPC. I will give a name here. So I'm writing here chef VPC and I have to give a CIDR block range. So let's follow the lab itself. So the range they have given is 10.0.0.0/16. Now let's see what is the meaning of this IP address range. Okay, so let me open my notepad here. Let's see. Now how this is done. Suppose I have a 10.0.0.0/16. Okay, now we know that this is 32-bit addressing. So whatever is the last number, we have to subtract it with 32. That comes out to be 16. So 2 to the power 16 is 65536. It means this range has a total of 65,536 IP addresses. Okay, so where first IP address will be 10.0.0.0 and the last will be 10.0.0/.65535. This is how to calculate the total IP addresses in a range. Okay. Now tenancy, we are going to click here, we are going to choose default because we are not creating any dedicated instances. Let's click on the create button and here our VPC is created. So this is my chef VPC which has been created. Now next step is to create the subnets. So what is the purpose of subnets? Basically subnets we create to divide our IP address range, because we have so many IP addresses, so we are going to divide those into public subnet and private subnet. So we will create one public subnet. So I will give name here public chef subnet. Okay, I have to choose my VPC, so I will choose chef VPC here. AZ I am choosing here US East 1A and I have to give a CIDR range. So I will give here a CIDR range. So if we check once in our so it is 10.0.0.0. so you can check manual anytime /24. So this is the public subnet. Now once it is created, let's create one more subnet, that will be our private subnet. So create subnet. I will give here private chef subnet. I will choose a VPC, so that will be chef VPC. AZ, so same AZ because we saw in the diagram also public and private subnets both in the same AC. And I will give an address range here So .1.0, and we can confirm once, yeah, and /24. Okay, so here we have created both the subnets, public subnet and the private subnet. Now next step is to create the root tables. Okay, now let's check here. So as you can see, these, wherever we have yes, these are the main root tables. So when we create a VPC, one default root table is created. You can see here chef VPC. So this is the default root table for my VPC. So I will rename it. I will name it here because it's a public root table. So public chef FRT. So this is my public root table. And one more I will create, that will be the private root table. So I will write here private chef root table, and I have to choose my VPC, chef VPC. Yeah. So once this is done, now we have one public root table and one private root table. Now next part is to have the association. So we have to associate a public root table with public subnet and private with the private subnet. So we have clicked here on the public route table, and let's do the subnet association. So I will click here, edit subnet association, right? So it's a public route table. So I will click on my public subnet and save. So now my public root table has been associated with the public subnet. Next step is private. So I will do the edit subnet association, and I will associate my private subnet with the private root table. Okay, so remember that a root table can have many subnets, but one subnet is associated only with the one route table. Now once this is done, we have to edit the roots. Now if you see here, either it is a private root, let's click on the roots tab here. You see the entry is local. Similarly, if you see the public, again the entry is local. So till now both the public and private roots are same. So we have to differentiate. So what we will do now, for public subnet, we should have one more entry in the root table. So if you can see here in document also, okay, public root table means internet gateway is one more entry, and for private root table, NAT gateway is one more entry needed. So let's create that. Now before that, I have to create internet gateways and the NAT gateways. So let's click on the internet gateway, and here I will create internet gateway. So I will give the name as chef internet gateway. Okay, this is optional. Create, and my internet gateway has been created. So let's go here. Now this is my internet gateway, and I will associate it with I will attach it with my VPC. So what's my VPC? Chef VPC, and it's done. Okay, so now we will go to the root tables, and with the public root table, I have to edit the roots, and I will add one more entry here with the internet gateway, so that my instances can communicate with the outside world. Okay, so save roots, close, and now as you can see in my root table, I have two entries. So first entry is showing the instances which are locally can communicate with each other, and the second row is showing that instances which are into the public subnet can talk with the outside world. Okay, now I will create the NAT gateway. So next step, click on the NAT gateway. I will create my NAT gateway, and I will give here name chef NAT gateway. Okay, sorry, here I have to choose the subnet, not the NAT gateway. So remember that NAT gateway is always in the public subnet. Okay, because of that only it will talk with the internet. So this is my public subnet, public chef SN, right? So I will choose this. I will allocate an elastic IP address here, and I will create a NAT gateway. And now I can edit the root tables. So what I want in the private root table, I want to add one more entry, and that entry is for the NAT gateway, so that instances in my private subnet like databases can interact through the NAT gateway with the outside world. So here it's done. Save roots and done. Okay. So till now what we have done, we have created a VPC, as you can see here. Okay, I have created the chef VPC. Then after that I created the subnets, so public subnet and the private subnet. Then I created two root tables, public and private. I did association, as you can see here. I did the subnet association, and then I added the root tables also for both of them. Okay, and before that I created the internet gateways and the NAT gateways. Now one point is remaining, that is for the public. Okay, we will click on the subnets, and for public subnet I have to make a setting, and that setting is public chef SN actions. I have to modify the auto assign, and I have to click it enable. So this is done for the reason that when I am creating instances in public subnet, they should have the public IP addresses. So public IP has been assigned. So now whenever instances will be created in the public subnet, they will be assigned with the IP address, public IP address. So now all this step is done. Now if we see the lab here, now one last step we will do. Inside the public subnet, we will create a EC2 instance. So let's go to the console. I will go to the services here. I will click on EC2. Okay. Now at present, no running instances are there. So launch instance. Now here most of the time I will select the by default settings here. So I will click on general purpose c2.micro. Next, configure the instance details. So I can put on default also, but here I will choose my VPC, that is chef VPC here, and it's the correct one, public subnet. So I want my EC2 instance in the public subnet. After that, all these be by default, and I will give a user data here. Okay, so let me go to my notepad. So what is the purpose of giving user data? It is basically used for during the for some configurations which we do during the launch of an EC2 instance, okay, or maybe some patching of the operating systems. So I will copy this here and I will paste in the user data. Next, add storage. So we will take default. So this is our root volume and it's 8 GB. So we will not change this. Next, add tags. Okay, so if you want, we can give a tag here. So let's give a name, and here I will give chef EC2. Configure security group. So if I wish, I can create a new security group. Okay, so I will click here, chef SG, my new security group, and I will add rules here. So if I want, to access my instance through internet, through browser, so HTTP I'm adding here. Okay, access is already there. Review and launch, and this will give a warning that it is open to the world, MyST. So no issue, I will click on the launch. Okay, so here at present I am keeping it simple, so I am proceeding without a key pair. Yeah, proceeding without a key pair, launch instances. And let's see. So yeah, our instance has launched now. Okay, it will take some time. We have to refresh it. It will take some time, and once it is done, then we can check whether it is running or not by copying its IP address and pasting into the browser window. Let's see. So it's a very fundamental lab for AWS, creating a VPC, creating the subnets, creating the route tables, doing association, editing the route tables, and creating the NAT gateway and the internet gateway, and then finally launching our EC2 instance inside that particular VPC in a public subnet. Now, as you can see here now, it's running, right? And you see it's been assigned a public IP address. So we can refresh again. You can see here in status text, it is still showing initializing. So if you click here in the status, you can see there are two types of checks. Okay, so that is the system status checks and the instance status checks. So it is monitoring the environment of the AWS systems and also the software and network configuration for a particular instance. So it should come here 2 by 2. So when 2 by 2 means our instance is healthy. Okay, so in description you can see it's a metadata. So all metadata, your instance, its running state, instance type, and then private IP address, which VPC, it is in the public subnet. So all information you can see here. We'll refresh again. Now let's copy this IP address and we can refresh again to see the health checks. It is still going on. So this is how we create a VPC